Hello, empowered woman. Welcome to this episode of the Empowered Woman podcast. Today I talked to the amazing Lila Veronica, speaker, movement coach, and podcaster. We talked about something I've really stepped into the last couple of years, feeling success in your body, really embodying what it feels like to be wealthy, happy, healthy. It was such a good conversation. But before we dive in, I wanted to share something super exciting. Remember last episode for my birthday, I shared how this show has grown and I really want to lead with the show in 2022 and connect with my listeners. Now that we've officially crossed the 100,000 download threshold, and I was approached by an amazing new app called Wisdom that was created specifically to help podcasters connect with their audience. I decided to check it out and I already added my first talk on there and I would love for you to go check it out. You can download the Wisdom app, so it's just called Wisdom, and look for me on there, add me and we can connect. Or you can click the direct link in the show notes. It'll lead you to my profile and to my introductory talk. Alrighty, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to start believing in yourself, giving yourself permission to succeed, and let your voice be heard to make an impact in the world as an entrepreneur, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Lila. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Marta. It's a pleasure to be here. I was really looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, me too. So I always like to start with a little background of how we've connected. And I was just saying that we've been in each other's worlds for a couple of years now. I remember we exchanged some messages a couple of years ago when I was doing like in-person events and I was wanting to know more about what you do. And then through the years, I've heard so many people say, oh, I've worked with Lila or this and that. And then we finally met in person at an event here in Denver. And you were actually facilitating a table for discussions. And I just loved the insight that you brought in. And I was like, all right, this is it. Now we officially need to connect. And I need to have you on my podcast to share this wisdom more widely. More people need to hear your wisdom. So I am so excited to have you. And I would love for you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Marta. This is so great. You know, I remember that table. That moment. It wasn't really that long ago. Right. And, there's some people who get it and some people who don't. Mm-hmm. And I just want to kind of give that to the audience today too, that if what I'm saying is like, what? Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's just not for you right now. It's not time. But if it does resonate, like you're going to want to kind of learn more and dig deeper and stuff. And that's what we're going to do today, basically. And I really felt that with you. And I really believe the reason probably you resonate with what I said, what I talked about, what I shared and taught at a round table, and then I'll introduce myself, mm-hmm. was that you're living what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm Lila Veronica, and I'm a speaker. I'm a podcast host. I have a podcast that's called Wow, Women Who Own Their Worth. Love it. Yeah, amazing people I've been able to connect with, interview, and support, as I started the podcast. And then I'm also a coach for women and couples. I coach them around their communication and their business. So it's communication. I can teach them marketing, messaging, and sales, and all the things we need for business. It's really about communication. But the one piece that I bring in that's my special sauce is the body piece, the embodiment piece, that the body and the business are a direct reflection of each other. Anything going on in the business, you can pick up in the body. Anything going on in the body, you can pick up in the business. So you can shift the business through shifting the body. Instead of if all the strategies out there aren't working, let's come home to the body, baby.
Yes. Love it.
So that's what I know. I love being here on this podcast because it's the empowered woman is not the smartest woman in the room. It's the one who is living her fullest, most authentic self.
Yes.
Embodiment. It's in the body. And I can feel that from you in person, but even from your marketing. Your body is speaking postures of joy, victory, excitement, creativity, even, right? You're expressing. Yeah. And you can see other people in their marketing. It's like just as pretty, all the things, but they don't look quite right.
Mm-hmm. Something's off.
Something's off. And we've all seen it. We've all felt it. We've all been there even.
Yeah.
And it's that, we'll start with, like, say, imposter syndrome, for example. So when we can embody our highest potential at any one point, people feel us different, and the marketing stuff falls into place more easily, the sales, the business stuff. Yes. So that's the piece that I'm so passionate about because I'm a former academic. I used to teach environmental policy at Ohio State University. And I spent 15 years working on environmental challenges of the world and teaching others and speaking about things and marching in the streets. I've done it all, the full on, young, freedom fighter type.
Yeah.
And then I came to a point where I recognized if I'm really going to change things in the world, number one, I need to change myself. I can share a little bit about that, what I've done. And number two, I need to help people with themselves. I used to work, think that it was all the problems were the science. And then I realized, okay, it's the policy. And then I realized it's the policy makers. And then I realized it's the hearts of the people who choose the policymakers, who choose the policies, who make the impacts on the science.
Yeah.
And so this is like how I've got here. I've kind of gone big pictured and whittle it down to the essence of the soul, really. And I've always had this gift since I was a kid, one, to generate wealth somehow. I would sell blow pops as a kid. I've always done some sort of, MLM or, wash cars, sold clothes on eBay when it came out. Like, I've just always done things. So it's not really surprising that I help people make money. And the other piece that I've always done, it's like, I've always been able to be pretty lit up by what I'm doing in life. I get pretty excited about what I'm in and I go all in. And then I've also been able to help other people get lit up in their life because I can see people's brilliance. I know how to ask the questions and see the brilliance. And sometimes people want to express their brilliance and sometimes they don't. And that's all okay.
Yeah.
But when you want to express your brilliance and you know how to make money together, it's like this heavenly service-oriented expression of creativity in the world.
Oh my gosh. I love it all so much. Well, a few things that you said, many things that you said that I resonated with as you were going about. First, understanding that your business is an extension of you. And so if something's not right within you, it's not going to go right in the business and vice versa. And I actually saw a quote not too long ago that said, there are no business problems. There are personal problems that manifest in business. And I think that really speaks to what you said. And then having you embody this empowerment. And also what you said, that the reason why I understood what you were talking about that day at that event was because I am living it, and the whole concept of empowerment. Oh my gosh, I love it so much because so many times in my journey, I have heard people saying these types of things. Like, if you believe it, then it's yours. The reason why you don't have it, it's because you're not believing it yet. And it's like, okay, but it's just so hard to put your finger on it. How do I get there? And then it's because it's a reflection of this personal journey. And also what you'd said, I went from this bigger picture, funneling it down into that personal responsibility, because that's the heart, right? I mean, what can I control? And this is what I'm going to focus on. And it starts with me making these personal choices that will affect other people, and then hopefully will encourage them to make better choices themselves as well. So resonated so much with all of it.
This is huge. So I want to give you guys some sort of big picture and then some practical tips around this, just to make sure for anybody, if we, don't ever connect for some reason, or you don't ever hear this again, maybe you can take one little thing away to implement. I'm all about, I'm a embodiment person.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's do some homework.
Please.
So a couple things, I love what you said about personal responsibility. So the body system that I teach is all about that. It's about accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability for your body, the way you move your body, the presence of your body, everything that's going on in your existence. And it shifts from victim to empowerment, like a lot of probably what you do in the world, right? It's huge. Mm-hmm. So I love that piece. There's a piece of mindfulness that needs to come in. Mm-hmm. Elevating our awareness around everything basically is like the 90% of the work. Eckhart Tolle, talks about this all the time. He's written books on it. He's basically, made his, he's a superstar, kind of this little sweet little superstar through basically saying, be here right now.
Yes.
Like
super simple.
Aware, be like, don't like do anything.
Right.
I'm like, how does he do what he does?
I know.
But that's like a big piece of it. It's like, it's everything. So, accountability, mindfulness, and compassion, huge levels of compassion for self and all past, present, future experiences and existences. So I want to say from a practical standpoint, so, from a kind of big picture, accountability, mindfulness, compassion, we need all that in order to really become embodied in the feminine form, in the flesh suit, right? It's like skin and bones and yummy water inside, right? So how do we, I work with a lot of very, very intelligent women and couples that tend to also be very elevated consciousness spiritually. So they're very like upper chakras. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like heart, throat, head. Like they kind of forget about the solar plexus, the belly, the root.
Yeah.
Bottom is all tight. So you got to loosen that up, right? You got to open it, relax it. So a couple things I want to share is if you want to say grow your business or get to some goal in life or get into a new relationship, lose the weight, whatever this goal is you have, because 2022 is coming up. So we're all thinking about it. Let's just be honest.
Yes.
We're all kind of like, what's next year? And what do we want to do? And I'm in that space. It's like, okay, number one, we got to get present. Well, how do we do that? Breath. Relax the belly. Everybody's told to have 6-pack abs. Let it go. Just let it go, baby. They say let it go. I'm going to say let the belly button go. Yeah. Let the bottom go. Both parts of the bottom. Relax the jaw. So just like kind of like that inner space go. There's like these places where we're tight. And you're like, whoa. So the belly is a good place to start. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm going to give you a little tip on breathing. All sorts of breathing techniques. We could probably have I'm sure there's podcasts out there with just breathing techniques, So this one is called Buteyko breathing. It's just where you breathe in and out of the nose, from the tip of the nose to the bridge of the nose, to the bridge of the nose, to the tip of the nose. Just that little length. You still take a full breath. You'll feel it in your whole body. But the nose breathing, just that gentle, soft breathing, is a real meditative breath. What it does is it brings your brainwave to a calm state. And that's what helps us get present, because it's the thinking mind that gets us out of our body and out of presence. And so this simple tool of relaxing the belly and then using this short nasal breath will slow you down enough to feel presence, mindfulness, elevate your awareness, because that's really the first step. Yeah. So breath. If you're not with your breath, you're not present, basically. That's it. So I've sold so much in my business. I've helped so many people sell so much in their business. My coaches have sold so much in their business through breathing. It's not the techniques, it's the presence. We all know that when we feel it.
Yeah. So true.
So and it's so simple, yet it's the thing that we forget about because it's like we're swimming in water all the time. We don't even realize we're in water.
Yeah. Right. Well, and what you were saying about having these people that are so focused on the upper part, before you even said that, I was because we were talking about Eckhart Tolle and all of that, being mindful, being present. I was like, entrepreneurs are in their heads a lot. Like that's the life of, hustle and what's the next thing. And then you're not being present because you're just focusing on what's next. You're not really feeling your body and all of those things. So I love that you brought that in, because breath is the presence, and it's almost like we're holding our breath the entire time we're working.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Holding breath is life energy. Breath and money are related. It's all related. We talk about getting in the flow, getting your breath, the flow of the breath. That's the first step.
I love that.
Men, I'm going to say right now, men, you'll watch a man breathe much deeper and smoother than women. This is more of a woman thing than a man thing for sure.
Really? Interesting.
Be skinny in the belly. So suck it in.
True. Oh God.
Okay. So all of a sudden we're tight.
Yeah. So tense. Mm-hmm.
And then we're, societally from a DNA even standpoint, we've been owned. So we're kind of been, we want to be small, cuter, to be fed and survival. So we keep ourselves small, the breath small. So this is powerful work. And I just want to say, if you're doing this and for some reason you feel emotional, the issues are in the tissues.
Yeah.
The breathing is such a healing tool to it's like you're shining your heart.
Yeah.
If it's calloused at all, the breath will help kind of shine it. And sometimes there's emotion that come up. So be gentle on yourself and we're here for you for sure.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah. It's important to know. So some people think they're crazy,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You got to feel through those emotions and dig deeper instead of suppressing them. Cause we know we've all done a lot of that. Don't feel, don't say, don't talk about it. And that's not helpful for anyone. Well, one thing I wanted us to dive into a little bit was exactly one of the things that you talked about that day at that discussion in terms of the embodying, because you were talking about high value offers. And I think in general for women, it is a challenge to charge for things, period. Just want to do things for free because it's like, I want to help. And then you use this excuse of I want to help. And you don't understand that when you're charging, you are helping that person from a mindset standpoint and you're helping yourself. But then when you say high value, high ticket, oh my gosh, can't even go there. Like $25 is too much. I'm asking too much. And then when you think high value, that's even, a huger jump and leap. And you talked about embodying that.
Yeah.
In your body, like physically, your stance. And when you talk to yourself in the mirror, I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit.
I would love to. And I'm going to give you a super simple way to remember this. So number one, so I'm going to talk present, future, past.
Okay.
We just talked about presence in the breath, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first step. Get present. Because most of the time you're either entrepreneur or you're a visionary. Yeah. You're thinking in the future. Guilty of that right here. I'm a futuristic visionary. So I have to be, this is why I teach this, is because I most need this. I'm an intellect and a visionary. Yeah. I need the embodiment or else I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
Out of control.
We always teach what we need.
Out of control. So so I need this for myself or else I would just float away pretty much. So, future, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I just want to give you this. It's that this is the missing piece. Most people are in the past and not the future. The past problems, the past identity, past price point. Yeah. The past limiting beliefs, all of that. Okay. So we could agree like that's usually the issue. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people do mindset work and it doesn't work because they're trying to fix the problem from where the problem comes from. So my advice is like, instead of trying to change the mindset from the past, if it's not working, if it's working, fine, go for it. Because I do mindset work and I've done belief system work and I still do. But it's only part of it. It's like get really present. Yeah. Maybe you have some limiting beliefs you notice. It's like, okay, but here's the thing. Feel the future vision, which means you feel yourself there. So if your future vision involves a boat, you need to feel the wind on your skin and the water splashing and the snacks in your hand and the music playing in the background and the smell of the fish, all of that. And here's the thing, if you're in business, now this is like my special sauce and I go through this whole meditative process with people. It takes a little while, but if you're, over time, it gets easier and easier and it's shorter and shorter. So it's a practice, right? So it's now what you want to do is you want to feel the feelings of your future clients after they work with you. Mm-hmm. So for example, My clients feel a sense of freedom around finance and mobility, where they can live, because most of my clients, they're online entrepreneurs. They're mobile, nomad kind of travelers, or they want to move to a new state, new house. They like to travel the world. It makes sense. I've seen 49 of the US states, and I've lived in 42 homes.
Wow.
So it's no problem for me to move and do this and that. I'm an empowered woman in that level, right? So those are my people. So what do I need to do? I need to be in the embodiment piece of me traveling and feeling free to go anywhere I want at any time. Right? Mm-hmm. And being able to build my business as big as I want to or as small as I want to. I know the how.
Yeah.
It's just a choice to put more time in, more energy in, more investment, whatever the more is. Mm-hmm. Elevate my prices, everybody, whatever the thing is that year. But it's my job to live that energetically, not think it, believe it, have faith and trust. It's like, no, live it. So that my clients can feel that when they come to me and be like, you're my person. I don't know why, but you're my person. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's what we all want as feminine entrepreneurs. Yeah. We want to be the attractor, not the pusher. That's what we hear a lot.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't want to be pushy. It's like, well, become it. You won't have to push. You won't have to sell anything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So that's the special sauce. Mm-hmm. And it's different for everybody what that future feeling state is. Mine is location freedom and income freedom. Mm-hmm. But somebody else might be doing healing work, for example, and it's like their person's going to be pain-free and forgiveness for their past stuff or something.
Right.
So they need to live all that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and I think that's really the special sauce. And what I love so much about what you were talking about that day is because usually it's like, and you touched on that. If you want a boat, you have to feel those feelings. But the different side of this that I hadn't heard anyone specifically talk about is not just make a list. What is the transformation? What does this person want? Is now you feel it and show up from that space, because then it's not the words. Yeah, the words help, but the words are going to come from that place.
They flow.
Yeah, they just flow.
It's like channeling. So if you're in that place, you're channeling the future vision. They can feel the value of what you have to offer.
Channeling the future vision. I love that so much.
I love it too. You see how much I geek out about it. I'm like,
yeah,
it's so fun.
It's so true.
You know what's cool about it too? I'm going to give you this thing is that one of the biggest benefits beyond the attraction piece is that you don't wear yourself out. Mm. The thinking is what wears yourself out.
It is. It totally is.
You could be doing this feeling state stuff while you're like taking a bath, doing the dishes, in the car. I mean, you want to be present, but it's like you can feel the feelings at all times. You don't have to sit down and write some marketing strategy up.
Right.
You just like, I literally will play with this energy all the time. Like in my neighborhood, I'll like sit there, be thinking about somebody. I swear they'll walk by and I'll be like, you've never walked by my house. Wow. And they'll be like, I know, I just was thinking about you. I want to stop by. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just things like that if you just be with that future energy, what you want, it will come.
It is. Mm-hmm. And what you said about,
because it's a whole different way of doing business. It's doing business from the feminine instead of a masculine.
Right.
Yeah.
And what you said about people overthinking, that's what wears them out. Recently, I heard someone saying that you're not tired because you have so many things to do, which probably you are doing more than you need to do. But at the end of the day, the overwhelm and the burnout comes from the overthinking, because you're just constantly battling those thoughts, not breathing, right? Not breathing, not being present, and not embodying everything that we're talking about. And it's just putting the worth in the actions. And I love it.
If you can't feel your pinky toe, you're thinking too much.
Mm-hmm. I love it. That's something to remember. Are you feeling your pinky toe? Bring your attention to your pinky toe. Oh my gosh. This is so good. Well, tell us how exactly you work, because you said who you specifically work with people. What are some of the things that you have in place in case someone wants to reach out? And then we'll do our rapid fire questions. I'm excited.
Yeah. So a couple kinds of, like I said, I work with women and couples.
Yeah.
Most of my clients are in the coaching realm and speakers because the body and they're presenting themselves, the body. So a lot of speakers and coaches I work with. It depends on where you are. I work with people. I have a couple shorter programs. Most of my clients work with me for 10 months. I'm mostly a private coach, long-term, deep dive, big development and transformation kind of coach. And so I also have the podcast. So if you want to check me out, you're like, I don't know about her so far. Let's see more. Go to subscribe to Lila, Lila, subscribe to Lila.com, and you can listen to the podcast. And then I have a body training, a free body training available. It's 10 key areas of your body to increase your energy and elevate your income. Okay. It's the body business. It's called Move and Grow Rich.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. And so you can just go to Body with Lila, Lila, bodywithlila.com and check it out. And you'll pick up quite a bit. Like you'll be surprised what you're doing with your body that you didn't realize.
Yeah. And I'll have all of that in the show notes. I love that resource because it's exactly what you've been talking about. And I have to say, when you're like, if people are like, oh, I don't know about this lady, go listen to the podcast. I have to say, just your voice is just so empowering because it's just, deep. And I know because you do meditations and it's just so appropriate, but I love it. Just listening. I'm sold.
What can I share one thing? If anybody wants to deepen their voice?
Yeah.
Relax your belly and talk from your bottom. It's talking from the head. Women go like this all the time. I can't listen to podcasts like that. Actually, I'm like, ugh. It's too much. So it's just basically talking from way down.
Yeah. So that's why your secret. I love it. Well, let's get to our rapid fire. I'm super excited to see what comes up for you because it'll be amazing. All right. So I have 5 different steps to my framework and I'll go through them and we'll see what comes up for you. Ready? All right. So the first one is notice yourself.
I love me.
Next is listen to yourself.
I'm softer than I think.
Forgive yourself.
For there is more work to do.
Empower yourself.
Soften.
And last but not least, transform yourself.
Become the superhero you know you are.
Yes. Oh, I love it so much. It's so fun to hear people say the interpretation of what it is, because I always say transformation is not becoming somebody different. It's becoming more of who you are, more self-accepting version of who you are. So that falls in beautifully. Thank you for sharing.
I almost had a visual of me with a cape when you said it. Yeah, that was fun. I didn't expect that. I felt vulnerable. I was like, whoa.
I know. That's why I love it so much because it's like, let's put people on the spot.
So good.
So fun. Well, tell us how to find you. I know you said already, but like social media, you talked about the podcast.
Social media. I love you guys. Oh my God, please be my social media friend, Facebook friend. I love social media friends. I'm all about it. And you'll see I'm pretty active on there. I share lots of content. I have a Facebook group. So it's Lila Veronica, Lila Veronica. And then my Facebook group is Wow, Women Who Own Their Worth. And you can find me on all the platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere at the Lila Veronica or Lila Veronica.
Awesome. I'll have all the links in the show notes. Thank you so much for all this wisdom. This was incredible. I loved it.
Thank you for doing this work for the world because it's very clear that women are bringing in a new essence into our future of leadership. And I really appreciate what you're doing for women. Thank you.
Okay, how amazing is she? And the voice. I just love it. Don't forget to connect with Lila. All of the information is in the show notes. Go find her on social media. Check out her Facebook group. And once again, I want to remind you about the Wisdom app. Like I said, this is a new app created to connect podcasters with their listeners. So if you're wanting to have a direct conversation with me and just discuss some of these podcasts and all the things that I'm all about, personal growth, visibility, profit, empowerment, all of that, download the Wisdom app. It's a little purple icon. It kind of looks like Einstein's profile. and you can look for me there, or go look in the show notes. I'll be posting about it in social media as well, the direct link for you to find me and follow me on there. Until next time, bye.